am not a terrorist just because I'm Muslim or was raised as one. I'm not fat because I don't have abs. And I'm not a kebab because I come from Turkey. I am not smart or dumb, and even though I'm mostly Mediterranean, that's still not who I am. I could go on with all the possible labels I've been given, but I would still say, that's not who I am. Sure, that might be what the world calls me, and for a while, I would have given myself some of those labels too, but only because you were, and because I let it happen. And to be honest, I don't like all of those labels, but I took it in like it didn't matter. You see, in my opinion, you are not white or black. You aren't Asian or Mediterranean. You aren't Arab or French. You are you, despite of those labels. A few years ago, I was at the airport about to take an airplane to Morocco, and I was wearing a headband, a simple piece of cloth tied at the back of my neck, when my dad asked me to take it off. So I asked him why, and he said, people are looking at you, and I think it's because of your headband. They might confuse it with a hijab, and I want you to take it off. When I heard this, I thought it was stupid, because I wasn't wearing a hijab. But what if I were? Why should I, or anybody else, change themselves so that you wouldn't feel uncomfortable? Why should I compromise my own identity so that you would feel more secure? Is that what the world has come down to? Well, I am part of this world, and as a 15-year-old, I refuse to settle for this. Another label I was given was fat. Well, having this label made me want to lose weight, made me change myself. So what I did is at the beginning of 10th grade, I went to the gym at least once a week, did all the workouts my friend taught me, and completely changed my diet thanks to the teaching of nutrition another friend gave me. Within 2 months, I started to see a difference, and the people around me did too. Today, I don't hear this label anymore. Physical labels aren't the only ones. There are other kinds, but the one that hit me hard was terrorist. It wasn't because of the way I looked, but because of where I come from. I come from Turkey, Morocco, and Belgium. I don't even have a Turkish or Moroccan passport, but only Belgian. Well, in 6th grade, a guy called me a terrorist. It happened a few weeks after the terrorist attacks in Paris. He meant it as a joke. Well, I thought it wasn't funny. But I was lucky in a way, because he learned from his mistake and apologized. But the worst thing that happened as a consequence is that he made me feel ashamed. He made me feel ashamed of my Muslim heritage. The worst thing you can do is call a Muslim a terrorist. I was lucky, because it happened to me only once, but hundreds, thousands of people go through this every day, and it's hurtful and horrific. I believe that school is where labeling happens the most. Teachers label students, students label teachers, such as the boring teacher, the weird one, or the inspiring teacher, the go-to teacher. But again, as a student, I see how it affects us more than it affects the adults. Just because I was shy a few years ago doesn't mean I am today. Just because someone was loud, aggressive, or a bad student doesn't mean they are today. People change. Chances are that these students aren't the same anymore. As students, we stay stuck. Teachers need to realize that these labels stay stuck forever. Students can't move on. I'm in the 10th grade, and we have an official label: irresponsible, loud, a messed up grade. Well, maybe they're right. Maybe some of us are like this indeed. But many of us are not. We are teens with a developing brain. So what I am today is different from what I'll be tomorrow. It's different from what I'll be in a week. It's different from what I'll be in a month. It's different from what I'll be in a year. It would be nice if when we start a new year, teachers wouldn't hold over us for our behavior last year. It would be nice if new teachers arrive at the school, previous teachers wouldn't won't share their experience and allow the new ones to make their own judgment. Allow the students to write a fresh story. Unfortunately, everyone labels. It's a human thing to do. But when it becomes a problem, it's when we feel singled out because of our origins, our skin color, or our sexual orientation. This is what happens to my family when we go and travel. You know when you're at the airport and these customs officers randomly check your suitcase? Well, every time my family and we travel, we are the ones who get our suitcase checked. I can't remember one time I didn't get called up to get my suitcase checked. And when I talk to my friends about it, they can't remember a time they did get called up. So when we came back from Turkey in February, you can guess what happened. We got called up. And like every time, my mom told my brother and I to talk in Luxembourgish to each other and to the customs officer to let them know that we were one of them, Luxembourgish. And when I looked around, I realized that everyone either had a headscarf, was black, or simply wasn't white. So this made me wonder, would the same thing have happened if I were white? If my family were white? Was my family labeled as suspicious or dangerous because of the way we look, because of our origins? What labels do is they build a wall between us. They stop us from seeing how a person truly is, especially those who look different, with those who have a different culture. They put us into boxes. They separate us instead of uniting us, when we are so much more. The world is getting too small, and nationalism doesn't work anymore. It doesn't take you further than your home. Internationalism is what works. Your neighbor from Africa, your classmate from Middle East, your dance mate, they might make you experience life like you never did. And chances are that these people are just as amazing as you are. Labels don't define me. They don't define you, they don't define us. Because you are you. I don't have to talk in Luxembourgish to a customs officer to not get called up. I don't have to change myself. I can try and change myself. I can try and lose weight. But I can't change where I come from or my origins. I am Iness Madjouline, a proud Turkish, Moroccan, Belgian, and Luxembourgish girl. I'm all I want to be, but I am not a label. Thank you.